comes together, there is literally nothing they can't accomplish.
I always say that God sent them to me because they're angels. That's how I call my volunteers, angels.
It just makes me feel really good that I can help out people in need. These people here lost their home and they obviously need a lot of help.
What's really saving us is the simple fact that Vermonters are willing to do anything for their fellow Vermonters, regardless of how well they know them, and that's making all the difference in the world.
There were two little girls that were barely 10 years old, and they came the first day, can we help, even though their houses were also, in trouble, and they just got a shovel and started cleaning mud for 2 hours without complaining. An 8 or a 10-year-old, I said, only if you don't move the wheelbarrow, So it's been just incredible, incredible.
Tropical Storm Irene hit Vermont, and the devastation it caused to the infrastructure, to homes, to communities was immense.
People prepared for wind and not so much the water. And trickling streams came down from the mountainsides and turned into kind of torrential, rip-roaring rivers and just took buildings off the foundations.
The areas that I have gone through, towns like we're in now in Wilmington, the entire downtown is gone and every business was flooded. It's hard to picture that kind of devastation.
Hard to believe looking at that river today that it would do this kind of damage, isn't it?
Wilmington's a place where people work hard to stay.
I've been here since 1978. Everyone you see you wave to, and everyone waves back.
I feel really connected to the people here. I feel like when I walk down the street or I go to the post office, I know the people who are there. It's not just a face in the crowd.
We helped each other financially, we helped each other spiritually, we helped each other as a community, and we will continue to do that because that is who we are. We've lived all over the world. We chose to come here for the last 20 years and raise our children here. And there's a lot of people that choose to be here.
I love growing up here. As small as it may be, it's like a very close, tight-knit community, and I love living here.
You've got scenery, you've got weather, you've got character, you've got these assets here that people are screaming out to have even beyond skiing and beyond fall.
I see a recovery that makes Vermont better, smarter, stronger. I see housing relocated out of harm's way.
Bigger culverts, bigger bridges, higher covered bridges, whatever it is that we're doing it with this question in mind. Next time Irene hits, will we be in the same place? If the answer is yes, don't rebuild that way.
Community planning and capacity building partners have a vested interest in supporting projects that help communities rebuild better, safer, and stronger. We want to help make communities more resilient for the next storm.
This is the first of the community meetings to lead us through a long-term recovery process for the town of Wilmington. Long-term community planning process is community-based. It is focused on projects, community-driven, and the projects are intended to help the community recover in a manner that they envision based on goals that they set for the future. The first thing that we'll be doing tonight is having the community members answer questions that are posed to them on the boards. They'll be using yellow sticky notes to answer the questions, and this is their icebreaker portion of the meeting.
We're excited to kick off this process, get input from the community in various categories. Folks who attend will have the opportunity to start identifying some needs of the community in areas such as economic development, housing and healthcare, human services, infrastructure.
So we have to decide in which order are we going to do things. So putting the village back together and making it the, aesthetically pleasing, historical village that will attract folks in, then you'll have vendors come in, then you'll have people hammering to put their shops downtown and stay open.
And some people are fine with the status quo.
They'll break out into subject matter groups. The groups will be meeting on a weekly basis, probably for the next month, but up to 6 weeks.
We meet once, twice, 3 times a week, and we are in the process right now of planning what we're going to be doing here for the next 5 years.
I'm hoping people will think very big. We certainly have been encouraging that. We've asked folks to, not be bound by the possible. Let's just get the ideas out and think big. Let's be creative and see where this process leads us.
Waterbury was one of 3 Vermont communities to receive assistance for long-term recovery planning. Waterbury is a very beautiful community. We're nestled in the mountains. It's very green. When you drive through Waterbury, you see beautiful vistas and landscapes. One of the big concerns in Waterbury is our economic recovery. In addition to losing a lot of structures in Waterbury and having damage to a lot of structures, there was also damage to the state office complex in Waterbury. And so 1,500 employees who used to work in Waterbury are now gone, and that's having a major impact on our businesses. So there are a lot of ideas about how to bring back the state employees to Waterbury, and also ideas of what will Waterbury do if those state employees don't come back.
Waterbury should be known across Vermont as an incubator for business in general, but also for green business.
The long-term community recovery process encourages and supports the town in getting together, looking at their situation, and trying to understand what they can do to really move forward. So what's happened in Waterbury is that we've created 6 sectors, and within each sector, the leaders gathered people from all around town to say, we want to brainstorm about our particular subject.
How do you get foot traffic to walk around your downtown? I personally do see Waterbury having a very strong recovery. This is a really vibrant community, and also through this process we'll develop more diversity in our economic base and see the value in bringing more businesses to Waterbury.
We want to move forward. We don't want to be lost in the rubble of the great need created by Irene.
Oh, I think the community meetings are a great thing. I think they're a boilerplate where these other things begin to spin off. I moved to Waterbury almost 30 years ago. I'm proud of Waterbury because through our history of redefining ourselves as a town and reinventing ourselves and finding new ways of surviving, we're doing it again. We're getting back on our horse, and we're doing it under duress.
It's very cool. It's very inspiring. It's a town taking hold of its future and planning a new direction, and taking lemons and making lemonade, and it's a very exciting thing.
Thanks so much for coming tonight and looking at all the projects we've been working on for the last 2 months, and for voting on your top 5 favorite projects. And we really appreciate your input and the excitement here this evening.
Every single idea, the big ideas that each group creates, each team creates, has itself a champion. So I was the champion for one of the ideas about efficient transportation.
I am the project champion to create an art center in this town.
And I'm a project champion for circularizing the village.
To be a champion, I think what you need is a sense of the broad issue that you're addressing.
What does it take to be a project champion? The last couple weeks, I've been thinking that it takes somebody who's out of their mind.
To be a project champion, it just takes love of where you are and a love of your community and a willingness to work with people and listen and work hard.
Well, as you can see, this is the Waterbury Task Force. We're counting the votes from last night's community fair. And it was just an incredible turnout. And everyone got to vote. They got to walk around the gym, do their own research, and decide what project they were going to vote on.
I'm a senior at Twin Valley High School, and I'm here voting today because I think it's really important that the kids in my community and the communities surrounding Wilmington get a say in what's going to happen in the years to come.
All recovery is local. If you try to dictate it, it won't work. We've learned that over the years. What's right for Wilmington might not be right for Waterbury.
Community planning and capacity building is not a one-size-fits-all recovery program. It can bring a myriad of tools to a community post-disaster, ranging from targeted technical assistance projects such as focusing on housing development to a full planning team.
The community will be given 6 dots to walk around and read all these projects and placing a red dot next to a project that they think should take priority. We need this whole community involved. If you're going to rebuild a town after devastation like Tropical Storm Irene, it's not just town officials, department heads, FEMA, and the people that come in. To rebuild our town, you need the public involved.
Community planning and capacity building does not bring financial resources to the table when we come to work with these communities.
Our job is to ultimately help them put together a plan, a destination plan.
At the end of the day, what we give them is a plan, which will serve as their strategy for their long-term community recovery.
I think that's our future. Rebuilding better, rebuilding higher, rebuilding smarter.
A long-term recovery group, their job is to really advise the community on what is possible and find the network of folks, private sector, public sector, nonprofits, voluntary agencies, put all those people together with that local community.
I think the next step for us in the recovery is going to be whether all of the visions that we've come up with actually come to life.
Mother Nature, do what you want. You can't break the spirit of Vermont. Try anything, take your best shot. You can't break the spirit of Vermont.
I personally do see Waterbury having a very strong recovery. This is a really vibrant community.
We lost a lot in the flood, and that's devastating. And it takes a little moment to get your head around that and move forward. But once you do, you realize you have this amazing opportunity to sort of start from the ground up, to recreate our community life here in a way that is even better.
We'll end up stronger than we did at the start. We help each other with our hands and our hearts.
Here we're building. I mean, we are really planting seeds in the mud of this flood that are going to bloom in a way that we're not even sure what they are yet. And to be a part of that, what more could you ask?
As hard as it was to lose so much, I know that in 5 or 10 years, I'm going to look back on this and be grateful. Right now, we've done a tremendous amount of work to recover from Irene, and we look great. 2 years from now, we're going to look spectacular, and 5 years from now, probably unrecognizable.
Can't break the spirit of